Hey, welcome back everyone to the Black Brain Trust. This is Low Information Voter Z. Please hit the like button as you come in, share the video if possible, and hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust. No document in the description that you need to follow along with, but we're going to get started with this final installment of the Low Information Voter series. One of the things that I have been really tracking in the manosphere, the Black manosphere specifically, is the low information voter. And the low information voter, as you see on screen, is exactly that. Low information voters, also known as misinformation voters, are people who may vote yet are generally poorly informed about issues. Okay? Generally poorly informed about issues. Now, we didn't know that this sort of Black male existed. Okay? We knew we had low literacy rates amongst younger Black boys and K through 12, but we didn't know politically that the low information voter existed among the Black male populace. And so that being said, I started tracking, um, conversations on these panels since last year. And I decided instead of arguing with people, let me clip people based on what they say and the misinformation that they put out. And so that's been very successful for a number of reasons. One of them mostly is that it holds people to account. If you say this, then what does that really mean? And let's challenge what's being said here, right? And so people don't want to be challenged on their views, especially if they don't feel confident about what they're saying. And so that's what the clipping of the people is about, right? The clipping of these discussions is about putting people on blast for what they're saying when they know they can't defend it. You see, this doesn't really happen to the Black Brain Trust too much, primarily because we cite our sources. The description is beneath the video for you to follow along with. That's how, you know, um, we run our channel. That being said, we also got MOT up here. What's going on, man? Tomorrow.
What's going on, man? What's going on?
All
Thanks for having
right.
me on.
All right. Yeah. So the low information voter, we didn't know that this even existed among the Black male populace. Now that we know that it's here, it was exposed by a grifter in the White House. Okay. Grifter in chief for that matter. MOT, do you have anything you want to add about what you think about the Black male low information voter?
Yes, I mean, they only came to ride in off somebody else's coattails. Like the MAGA movement was not built by black people at all. So
Mhm.
these people just came in to kind of act like they were the premier people who put Donald Trump in the White House. And all this stuff just come off as just a whole bunch of trolling. Like I told people up front that they're about to do a lot of stuff to white rural Americans that you're not going to be able to defend. So if you jump out here out front, your ass is going to be actually blamed for what's going on. So I'm like, hey, stay tuned. Wasn't even 2 months in. Already been proven true. So that's where we at.
All right, let's go to a conversation that we had a couple years ago to this day with one of the manosphere um, low information voters. Okay, his name is AB Media. We had a discussion on the Black Brain Trust about the economy, and we were taken out of context. And so AB Media decided to jump on the panel to try to defend himself. Let's go to that discussion that set all of this off.
Mike's good points, but this is what I want to say. And I was listening very
Mhm.
closely to Greg Palacios and a few others who were speaking on this, which I pretty much already knew, but I like to listen to those experts who are really study politics and study, the socialization process here in this country around race and so forth. The Democratic Party in itself, even though we've moved forward in many ways with them, some of the Republicans back in the older days, but have a fear of the Democratic Party being a black party. So they still want that to be white run as well. So you have your like the rapper said Dixiecrats and all that kind of stuff like that. You have your Mansions and all them that are in the party still, who are part of that, and then they're not going to leave. So your white supremacist wing, as far as what you have, still exists in the Democratic Party. It's not going anywhere. And at the end of the day, they don't want you to ultimately control that party either. So that's the reality there, and you have to deal with that. I mean, we've seen it. We certainly saw that deeply in the 60s and so forth as we were moving towards civil rights and so forth, and the amount of pushback we did get in the southern states from Democrats as well. We can talk about the southern strategy and all that, but still, that still remains a key part of what goes on inside of the Democratic Party. And there is a control aspect there as well, and they ultimately don't want to see the major part of this party controlled strictly by black people.
Now, I'm pausing this here to make a point. The idea of vote blue no matter who is a low information voter tactic to try to persuade or dissuade people to understand what's being said here by Nagone 11. Nagone is articulating the fact that there are problems within the Democratic Party, and he's holding them accountable for it. Now let's hear if AB Media has anything to say about the Republican Party.
Let's just say Obama certainly saw that when Obama started to, when he wrote in his book, what were the big issues that were really holding back some of his policies? It was the blue dog Democrats that really were getting in his way more so than anything else. You knew the Republicans were coming after him, but you had people inside of your own party. Why did those people come after him and his own party? And when you start to break it down and you start to look at it all, the only thing that ultimately makes sense was the fact that it was based on negritude and negritude alone. So therefore, those are factors you have to understand about the Democratic Party as well. The fear of a black planet, like Public Enemy used to say back in the day, is a very real thing, and that does exist within the Democratic Party. This cannot be forgotten. That's why you have to really organize as a very strong political base to get much out of the Democrats, because they too are going to waffle on some of this. As we know, liberals, to a large extent, the classic liberal, we used to call them up here in New York, they're just racists who are a little bit nicer about it. So that's really what you're really dealing with, and this is well known certainly by the older structure. When we look at Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all them, they understood this well way back then. Those are some of the people that were blocking some of what they were trying to do in the North. Oh, you got everything cool in the South, now you come to the North, chill out. We got this covered. We're trying to hold them back as well. So they don't want you to be in control. That's another key factor. You just have to understand in what you're dealing with. That's what makes our political plight here in this country a complex one, and why you have to be really knowledgeable, understand your history, and well organized to achieve things. All this can be done, but you're looking at resistance from both sides. The common denominator is white hegemony and white control, and that exists in both parties. You're not getting rid of it.
All right, let's go to AB Media.
Can you hear me now?
If you can.
You hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
So what's the issue?
I don't know when you came in on the stream. Where did you come in?
Probably about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. So you wanted to speak on the economy. I heard it. We played the clip of you saying it. So
okay.
The so-called left, right? Where are your sources that the economy is not doing good?
Well, I don't have them with me right now, but the way people are,
I'm sorry.
Hey, go man. Go ahead, AB.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the numbers do look good. I'm not gonna speak.
Now, let me stop this here. This guy went on a big rant about how Biden and Kamala Harris was destroying the economy. We produce the numbers, and he says, "Oh, I'm not gonna lie, the numbers look good." So which one is it? MOT.
But they want to troll blue no matter who. They want to benefit from blue no matter who. They don't want to vote for blue no matter who. Mm-hmm. But if you ask these people where they live at, it's not red areas in red states, and it's not red areas in blue states. So why don't you pack it up and leave these liberal areas that you don't want to vote for? All these people are just political trolls and political freeloaders.
Mhm.
They have no interest in the process, only the results. And the only crime is that the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party alone did not fix all of their political issues. So they think, you know what, since we're not going to ask the Republican Party for anything, we're just going to feign right, troll left, don't understand the process, don't care about the history, just act like you're down with stuff, and just be a normal, just political saboteur. That's all it is. It's really not that hard. Because once you ask them about the history and why did you become a quote unquote conservative all along, and if you match it up with the content that they do, they're just anti BW hate. That's all it comes down to.
Right. And this conversation happened just after the midterm. So keep in mind that what we're talking about at the time was the numbers that was coming out from the polls as well as the economy. AB Media thought that the economy was doing bad, but the numbers came out and stated otherwise. That's why he says, I'm not going to lie, the numbers look good. Well, how can you go on a rant about how, the Democrats have ruined the economy? Again,
Yeah,
this
but
is
you
the
have to
part.
understand what that's about, though.
Mhm.
The problem is that for non-productive men, the economy is never going to do well enough to actually include them.
Mhm.
What they think about the economy is doing well is getting another COVID check because everything's shut down.
Mhm.
That's what they respected. They didn't respect a good economy. They only respected free money and free things that they didn't have to work towards while living in these barely blue areas and asking the actual people who run their state for it for nothing. That's all it is.
Yeah, let me finish playing this.
That employment's at an all-time low, but when you talk to people, they're not happy. I do understand the numbers are what they are, and also groceries groceries are not going down. Now I understand it takes
Okay.
time, and that's not entirely Biden's fault, but there's a lot of stuff coming up. Like next month, they're going to start back student loan payments, and the economy's going to take a hit. And I just hope it
Because of
doesn't get
student
ugly.
loans? Because of student loans? I'm just
No,
trying to understand.
No, because they're going to start making them repay it next month. They've been on a
But they only have to repay up to 5% of their income. You
Okay.
understand that, right? So that means if they're making, let's say, minimum wage in fact, if they're making minimum wage, I don't even think they have student loans at this point. I think that's been, I think they were the first ones to get their loans completely absolved or resolved. And so the only ones who really have to pay are ones who meet who are above the poverty rate, the poverty levels, federal poverty levels. So I'm not sure if that's going to impact the economy as you're saying, but to this point, I don't know where you said you came in 10 minutes ago, but let's just look at my sources. And, we've covered this earlier, but I'll just do it for you. This is from Bloomberg. The economy is going Biden's way. Now he has to get voters to give him credit. This is from Bloomberg.
okay.
This is from CNBC. Morgan Stanley credits Bidenomics for much stronger than expected GDP growth. According to these sources in factcheck.org, let me see if I can pull a fact check. Factcheck.org says that the economy is also doing good too. The numbers reflect that. So that's why I'm trying to understand, where did you get that statement last night that you made on the Coliseum that the left, the Black Brain Trust, Mike V, says that the economy is doing good, but it's not being reflected where?
Well, one I'm listening to the economist Richard Wolff. That's one of the guys that said the economy's not doing as good as the numbers might seem.
But Rick Wolff is a Marxist economist, so he has a Marxist lens at everything he's looking at. Not saying he's wrong, but he uses a Marxist lens. And so, for all of the quote unquote anti-left rhetoric that goes on in this space, I'm surprised that anybody would use a Marxist economist's view on the economy, but then revert back into a non-Marxist perspective. I don't understand that lens, but I get it. Any source that could be used to prop up the idea that the economy is not doing good.
Let me address because I did hear.
Now, let me stop it here. We came with the actual sources of information that counters his whole narrative that the economy was doing bad. He had no counter other than Rick Wolff, Prof. Wolff. okay, who's a Marxist economist, that these guys claim that they can't stand at all, right? This is the basis of low information. Misinformation is put out there, and now you're forced to unpack it. And as we are having this, this dialogue on the panel, and we present the information to them, no counter. That's how you deal with low information voters. You put all the evidence on the table, read it in real time, and watch their reaction. He had everything to say on the Coliseum. The Black Brain Trust, vote blue no matter who, buck dances, there's shills, all that stuff that was being said. We get him on the panel, and this is the end result. MOT?
Yeah, I mean, but it's meant to be a walled garden of ignorance and misinformation for actual people who just want to hang out and try to sound smart or seem political. For as much as they call us out, they never jump up on these live streams when the link be dropped. I'll jump up. Whenever I see the link drop, I jump up, I ask simple questions, and you see how I get trolled off the panel or even ignored, and I'm not even there whatsoever, because this is how low information people exist within society. I directly confront people. They're not used to direct confrontation of their misinformation and their disinformation. And we're talking about people who are supposed to be productive at this point in life. Like, if they can't answer simple questions on what they believe, how are you going to be able to convince someone or explain anything to anyone? But that's just what the space have as a deliberate marketing strategy, is to actually market toward those individuals who are not very well spoken, who need a safe space to just get their stuff off and not be held to the actual level of actual up-to-date information, and have no interest in doing so.
Let me finish playing this.
You guys mentioned Ron DeSantis. Under no circumstances would I vote for Ron DeSantis. I'll tell you that straight up.
Okay.
He's a racist grifter, and everybody sees that. That's some goofy shit he's doing in Florida with the slavery benefited somebody. Yeah, right. No, I don't agree with that.
Okay. I mean, he thinks he can win the nomination for the party. I don't see that.
He's not going to beat Trump.
I think
okay.
Republicans that we can agree on. But if the objective of the Republicans is to pull in more black votes, especially from black men, I don't think that Ron DeSantis is the ambassador of that agenda. I think that black men going into the Republican Party today is walking into a burning house. I don't see what they're going to get out of it. When I hear people in the space talk about Democrats and leftist policies, I'm not sure if they understand that the Republicans have zero policies that would be advantageous to black men at this point. Unless you know of something I don't, because last time Trump's policies, was supposed to bring Carrier into Indiana. That was a very short stint. They got $1 billion out of it, and then they took off and went to Mexico and left a lot of black men who worked at Carrier high and dry and unemployed with COVID on top of that. I don't see anybody in this space who claims to be in opposition to what's considered to be the left actually having that conversation about black men suffering, trying to work extended hours because places like Indiana kind of ignored COVID restrictions and had a lot of these folks working on these assembly lines, under COVID conditions. I don't know. I don't know where some of these folks, at least maybe under your stream or maybe on that side of the space, where they're coming from with these ideas that Biden is doing such a poor job. I don't see it reflected anywhere in these sources. I'm seeing all sorts of numbers boasted. It says right here. Oh, actually, are we look at the screen? Yeah, it says right here. The economy added 12.6 million jobs under Biden, putting the total 3.2 million higher than before the pandemic, which is Trump's administration.
Okay.
I mean, the term Bidenomics means that he has. The term Bidenomics means that he has a policy in place, right? An economic policy in place. When you start talking about Trump and a lot of black men saying they came up under Trump, I find that very dubious, because how can that be the case if the numbers are not reflected there?
Also, let me pause it here, because if you look at the last bullet point under the screen, it says people apprehended for entering the U.S. illegally from Mexico has increased by 342%. That means that they were already doing their job at the border. So this idea that everything that's happening at the border was Biden's fault, not necessarily true. Okay, none of that is true. This is from fact check. I completely forgot about this, but I just happened to glance at the bullet. And again, the misinformation that comes from low information voters never has any sources that's credible. It's always hearsay and um, a rumor. I heard this, I heard that. Never finding the source.
Because they're not used to providing evidence for their actual claims. They're more in to get your stuff off and pass the mic. It isn't even based in reality. None of it ever is. So that's just what you're dealing with.
Sure, let's continue on.
And then suddenly black men just stop coming up under Biden. I don't understand where some of these cats are coming from, but maybe you can explain their side of that argument.
Well, when we see Biden, we see a lot of symbolism. Like, for example, his latest scheme, he wants to make a statue of Emmett Till and Emmett Till's mother. Make a excuse me, trying to get the word out. Monument of Emmett Till and Emmett Till's mother.
Yeah, I think that's a part of American history, don't you think?
Yeah, but I would have preferred he arrested Carolyn Bryant and charged her before she died.
Well, I mean, that's up to the the state's attorneys who were in the state that she was in, that she resided in. I mean, they couldn't even find her for quite some time until they saw that she was in hospice or somewhere where she was supposed to be at. I think that's out of Biden's control. I don't think that Biden is in charge of arresting people, but I do get your point. I think that when you have Republicans and conservatives who actually were protecting this woman, I mean, the fact that these same people want to deny that race was even involved, it was a racial lynching. We had Rand Paul, the son of Ron Paul, filibustering the anti-lynching bill. I didn't see not one content creator in the manosphere even highlighting this. The very lynching bill that would have protected George Floyd, for that matter, or many other black men who have been choked to death by these Anglo-Saxon men. What I hear from a lot of these people in the space is, just hilarious is more important than, this brother being choked out on the train by Penny. I don't hear I don't hear people talking about this. So when you say the left, what is your perspective on?
Let me pause it here for a second. This is really important to understand. This guy's grievance with the Biden administration was a monument that was supposed to go up for Emmett Till.
Was the state of Mississippi where this happened? Who runs that state? Who has always ran that state? And remember, when you talk about vote blue no matter who, that's the opposite of that. The people who you stand with. And you have the nerve to talk about Emmett Till when you want to be on this conservative stuff? Come on, man. This can't be real.
That was the grievance. You heard it in real time or past time. This was his grievance with the Biden administration. A monument for Emmett Till, a black male who, in Dr. Tommy Curry's book, The Man Not, would have been the poster child for The Man Not.
Okay, so how come he didn't ask for it during the first Trump administration? Since he's so mad about it in the Biden administration, that was a Trump administration that was never addressed at all.
That's kind of where I'm at with this. Like, all the grievance that should have been taken up with Trump is being put in the lap of Democrats, more specifically Biden and Kamala, right? And so what is the ultimate, what is the ultimate goal with taking up an issue with the Biden administration about arresting Carolyn Bryant, this woman who had lied on Emmett Till in the first place, right? And so instead of going after conservatives like you say, MOT, he'd rather go after Democrats. That's a part of the low information voter, right?
Yeah, and also this has to be prosecuted where the crime happened, Mississippi. Okay, and you have to get a federal prosecutor in Mississippi to actually prosecute this. in Mississippi. So there's no way that another state can just take it upon themselves to just prosecute something. It has to be upon the prosecutor within the local area of jurisdiction to prosecute this. We're
Extradite,
talking Mississippi here.
yeah, extradite him back to the scene of the crime. Let's finish playing this.
And the left, how do you define that?
How do I define left? People who are for universal health care, people who want to not be in a proxy war, which is another problem that I have with Biden right now. He's in a proxy war with Russia, and everybody sees that with Ukraine. You there?
That's your interpretation of the left? That's your interpretation of the left?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. Let me not take up a lot more time. Anybody else on the panel have any questions for AB Media?
Yeah, where do they have universal health care in the country? AB Media.
Universal health care in the country. This country or
Yeah, where do they have universal health care in this country?
nowhere?
So how are you worried about universal health care when it's nowhere in the country?
Okay.
All right.
Did you mean universal? Did you mean universal health care or affordable health? The Affordable Health Care Act?
Universal.
No.
Okay.
You heard it right. So
Okay.
what was the second issue that you seen the left pass? Because we don't have universal health care anywhere in the country. Only people who do have universal health care are politicians. They are taken care of from cradle to grave. If they serve one day in the actual seat of somebody, they get health care for life. That's the only universal health care we have in this country. It's for politicians. So, and some
Yeah.
veterans under some certain circumstances. What's the other thing you seen the left have?
Ending proxy wars.
Any proxy war? You mean like with Ukraine?
Yes.
Were you for? I mean, do you have any sources about you not liking the Iraq and Afghanistan war?
I wasn't for those wars either.
So you're against just all wars, period?
No, I was for them going in Afghanistan and getting Osama bin Laden. Let's not get it twisted. But
Okay, but how long did that take though?
probably about, let's see, probably around 10 years.
Okay.
According
How
to
long did we
whenever the war started and when Obama claimed they killed him, allegedly killed him.
Okay, so you don't think that Osama bin Laden was killed by the United States government?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They say they have his body. But I've heard from from some other people that may not be true. But for now, yeah, I guess that's the truth.
Did you watch the interview with the well-known guy who was the guy who actually shot bin Laden to the face? Did you actually watch that interview with that
No, I did
guy?
not.
It's on YouTube. Yeah,
No, I did
the
not.
natural Navy SEAL guy. I'm not sure why he's famous because there was a team of like 27 people out there. But the guy who actually shot bin Laden through his eye, you can watch that interview from that guy who actually shot him. And he'll tell you the entire story about what they did with the barrier at sea and all of that. Because
Okay.
there are no sources that say that didn't happen. And I doubt that there's as much money and fame that guy got off of that story. I doubt that guy will come out here saying that if he did not take the shot.
Okay. I'll check it out. Okay.
But the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, a whole bunch of money was spent on.
Too much,
One of those
yeah.
wars based off a lie. If bin Laden was right next to the Pakistani, army base or whatever, that means we could have got bin Laden a hell of a lot sooner than that. Which means we spent a hell of a lot more time in Afghanistan than we actually needed to be, because we actually let bin Laden go into a war.
I think his name is Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle, okay.
Chris Kyle.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. Hey, listen, man. Thanks for letting me
Yes,
up.
sir.
I think I've seen all I needed to see and heard all I needed to hear. Wonderful
All right,
job.
man.
I think this is I think we've made our point. Anyway, thank you. And you guys hey, AB Media, you take care of yourself, all right? Take care.
All right.
All right, you guys take care.
All right, so we could have got bin Laden in like I think 3 weeks.
Yeah, and
we
that's
let him
Bush's
go into a war.
that's Bush's fault. Don't trust me. I don't blame no Democrat. That's Bush's fault.
Okay.
What was his name again? I'm sorry.
Chris
Chris-
Kyle.
I think his name is Chris Kyle.
Okay, I got it.
I think Chris Kyle was the guy who had like the most sniper shots in history. I don't think he's the guy who actually shot Bin Laden. I think it's another guy, actually. Who was on SEAL Team 6. Yeah. Yeah, because they did a movie after the Chris Kyle guy. The guy who eventually got killed by another veteran. But yeah, it's just that all right, so you got anything else you see the left as other than proxy wars with actual Ukraine
Well,
and universal healthcare that isn't there at all?
unfortunately, this is not necessarily the part of left that I listen to, but some of this are some of them are on this pro LGBTQ ABCDEFG stuff.
Okay, so here's the thing with that. That is a two-party thing, just like women is a two-party thing. Now, if the Supreme Court, who have a 6-3 supermajority, can take away or partially made it look like they were taking away abortion rights, how come the 6-3 supermajority don't take away LGBT rights?
Because the probably LGBT in the conservative ranks too.
Okay, so you tried to make it a left-wing issue when you know it's a both-party issue.
Well, I'm making a left-wing issue because I don't see the right putting the rainbow flag over the White House.
They may not put a rainbow flag, but they'll put a Confederate flag though.
Let me stop it right there because nothing to say about Confederate flags being flown in the White House or on the state
even
capitol.
care.
Doesn't even care about
matter.
it. Doesn't even care about it.
But here's another thing, Mike. That proxy war with Russia is still kind of going on. Is he calling for Trump to end that? Was
No.
there ever a live stream about him talking about that? Once Trump got back in office, it seemed to be these complaints that he
Mhm.
have are only when Democrats are in office. The whole
Trump
point is to hold Democrats responsible for things that he won't, not the conservative movement, and definitely not the Republican Party.
Trump said the other day, at least 48 hours ago, he wanted to maneuver two nuclear-powered, nuclear-capable submarines around Russia. Okay? Which is a tripwire for, I'm going to put a gun to your head. So he's fully invested into the conflict too. But you don't hear AB Media or any of these guys, these low information voters, holding Republicans accountable for this. In fact, it's Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio who are the hawks in the cabinet about Russia. So what are we talking about here? But no one's saying anything about this because it's perfectly fine if Republicans are doing it. If it's Democrats doing something, then all of a sudden now you're a shill for Democrats for bringing this up. Let me finish playing this.
Fair enough.
People who have to remove their actual, you're worried about the symbolism of a flag being put up over the people who can actually take their rights away, who have the power to do that and not doing it.
Hey, AB Meet, I was looking at your channel, and
Okay.
I had some questions. Do you think Just Pearly Things is here for help black boys in the Supreme Court and legislation?
Probably. Hell no.
Oh, okay. All right, well, another question. Do you think?
She's to her credit, she come out and said she's in it for the money. So it is
Okay,
what it is.
I got you. Okay, so another question. Do you think No Voting, No Fucking was a Democratic sponsored commercial?
Yes, I do.
Okay, it wasn't. So
Okay, the funding for that was tied
Yeah,
to
he answered that super fast, didn't he?
organization. I forget what the name of the organization, but it was self-funded by Michelle Obama. Yes, I think No Voting, No Fucking was a Democratic plot. I also think what was the other one? Get Your Booty to Close was them too.
okay, well, okay. If somebody who does it, that doesn't mean it's the Democratic Party. They didn't sanction that. They didn't sponsor it. I mean, if a person that happened to vote Democratic did it, that doesn't mean the Democratic Party did. I just thought I'd let that be known. So I don't know. Man, I
Well,
was looking at the
to
channel.
your point,
Okay.
to your point, Lou, I don't mean to interrupt you, but to your point, it will be the equivalent of the Manosphere making a campaign ad using memes.
Right.
It's not indicative of the Republican Party or the Libertarian Party. It's the Manosphere doing it. But see, we understand that aspect, but we don't understand that when it comes to no voting, no fucking.
Right, exactly. And then I was looking. I mean, you said Roland Martin is a clown. Your ancestors
Yes, he
didn't
is.
die. Yeah, I was just asking. I was wondering where that was at when he asked you about, what's your problem. I
Well,
was kind of,
he actually blocked me on Twitter. I didn't really say anything bad to him, but he came out and said called people punk asses because they didn't vote in 2022. Well, here's the problem: I didn't vote in 2022, so I took offense to that. So I made a little short to say about my ancestors didn't die for your punk ass to buck dance for Hillary Clinton.
Okay, well, I got a question for you. Do you
What
want
you
to
say,
see
Martin?
political change in this country, AB Media?
Yes, I do.
How do you get to see political change if you don't vote? How does that work?
Well, I was at work. You send a message to the person who's always begging and asking and acting like they own your vote that you don't own my vote.
Okay, so tell me a time in history where not voting got something done.
Not voting got something done. Civil rights movement.
that was voting.
That was about voting, getting the right to vote.
Yeah, it was
No,
all
they
about.
didn't. Trust me, they did that because they didn't want you to tear the country up.
Did black people vote or not?
Yes, they switched parties once the Democrats decided they wanted to
Oh, so they
get
did
behind
vote.
civil rights. So
So they did vote.
yeah, mostly black folk were Republicans up till that time.
But they voted.
Because
Yeah,
because the Republican Party was the party that advocated for their interests
yeah.
at the time.
Could you
Great
tell me,
effect.
since the parties did switch, what was the best time to be a actual black Republican since the parties did switch from the 1960s? Like, what is the Renaissance period? Could you name me any piece of legislation that was passed by a Republican administration that targeted black people and black people only during that? I'm talking about like 1960s to the present.
1960s to the present. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
After the civil rights legislation, obviously.
I was going to say the white Deons, but you said 1960s to the present. I can't think of any.
All right.
Because Nixon didn't care for us, and Reagan was most definitely didn't give a shit about us.
So which party do you vote for?
It depends.
Okay, so
I mean,
what?
you didn't actually participate the last time. So, all right.
It depends. If I like what the Republicans talk about, I might vote for Republican. If I like what the Democrats talking about, I might vote for the Democrat. It depends.
Okay, so do you think Ice Cube is a legitimate political actor?
Yeah.
How?
Well, he's using his he's using this celebrity for political action. What's the big deal?
Okay, so what did Ice Cube get passed at any other time in history? What piece of legislation that Ice Cube is solely responsible for anywhere in this country, anywhere, anytime in history? Could you name me anything that Ice Cube is actually personally responsible for that's being passed?
Well, nothing right now, but that doesn't mean you should try.
Okay.
I mean, I get your point. He hasn't got any legislation passed, but that doesn't mean he should give up and go home.
I mean, but he's not participating in the actual process. He hasn't picked a side. You
Why
get
would
things
you
you pick a side.
why would you need to pick a side? You guys have stated yourself before I got on that both parties don't like us.
No. So like what you're doing is that you have to understand both parties don't like you, but you still have to participate. It's kind of like if I want to see an NBA championship, and I'm not sure how the Denver Nuggets end up winning this year, but they did. That's my city. If I want to see an NBA championship, I got to choose the Eastern or the Western Conference. No matter what's going on, I got to be able to choose one if I want to see a champion of some sort, right?
Yeah.
There is no middle of the road. There's going to be a champion. There's going to be a winner. So in order for you to be able to see some type of progress, you can't wait just till the actual election because you don't get to vote in the primaries. You don't even get to pick the candidates on the ballot. Now you're just waiting to be pandered towards in the actual election, and then you probably don't even end up getting anything. So people who organize for a side, they get exactly what they want to. The Jews are on both sides. Most Asians are on both sides.
So why do y'all yellow brothers who want to be on the right side?
You're not on the right side. You're in the middle, but you're attacking the left. That's different than just being plainly on the right. That's way different.
Boom. Boom. MOT nailed this
Yeah,
completely. Go ahead, MOT. Go ahead.
See, here's the thing. if you live in a blue area and you're always attacking the right, but you're not on the left, you don't have a side pick. The only thing you're doing is you're just a political heckler at that point. Because you don't want to hold anybody responsible but the left. The right is not even being questioned, but somehow you're over there. You live in a left-wing area. Your whole state is a right wing, and always, it didn't just get to be right wing last election cycle. It's always been right wing. Always. Since the 80s. So how do you get this gumption to try to hold people responsible when you live in a blue area and you want more blue stuff, not red stuff? I can guarantee you this. Nothing that you say about gay people is not going to trump healthcare. Period.
Right.
At the end of the day, 90 miles from Indianapolis to the east is Ohio, where you actually get the Affordable Care Act. 90 miles to the west is actually Illinois, where you actually get access to the Affordable Health Care Act. So you're sandwiched in between that with a completely right-wing legislature. But the only people who you want to hold responsible for anything is just the left. You're just a political heckler. That's all it is. And what he has is a bunch of other individuals who's highly apathetic, low information, zero participation. And the only people they have the strength to hold responsible is the people who've been helping them the entire time. I tell people this. You ask black people a straight question. Did you vote in the last election? Yes. Who did you vote for? If they don't say who they voted for, never talk to them about politics again, and never allow them to speak to you about politics ever. The same thing. You're going to pick a side and you're going to participate. And if you can't do either, you should never be taken seriously about politics. I understand the actual idea of giving non-interested people in the process the ability to talk. But when it comes to the purely progressive aspect of getting things done, you're not on the side because you don't care. You only care when things are done for you. And that's not how it works. They're not going to give you a perfect system so that way you can participate next time. And if that's your plan, show me where that plan worked. And give me a timeline of when you're actually going to get started. But see, when you ask people direct questions like that, they can't do nothing else but just hold these deliberate misinformation streams. This is why links stay dropped. This is why direct confrontation to foolishness and nonsense and having them provide you an actual timeline is the best way to deal with these individuals.
Perfectly stated. Let's continue.
Because when people are on the left and when people are on the right, you can coordinate to get stuff done because you've got a mixed caucus of people. But when you got people who are in the middle, you can't really track where they are, and we on the left are doing things actually for black people, and you're kind of nowhere to be found, and you don't participate in the process, we're kind of out there on our own. And what is happening in this process is that you're leveraging our political participation when you haven't picked a side. If you're on the right, great. I never said not be on the right. I'm just saying, you're on the right, go out there and be on the right. Be out in front, out there on the right, so that way you can do that when you're actually on a political side. If you're not on the political side and nobody knows where you stand at, you'll never get anything tangibly done. Especially if I have to declare that I'm on the left and everybody else is not even participating or else standing there in the middle. You go to these southern states, you see that nobody actually participates in the actual election process. And the only thing they're doing is leveraging the actual collective failure of people who are. So how do you get progress your way? With your level of understanding, how do we get progress? Your specific way. How do we get it?
Well, how do we get specific progress? Particularly with the Democrat Party, you gotta put your foot down with them. And I just don't see that. I don't see that enough.
Okay, no. You misunderstood the question.
Okay.
I asked you what are you going to do? Like, what is your plan to success? Because people are already showing up to vote on the left. They're not really showing up to vote on the right. I mean, on the right. We're talking about no policies on the right. They're on the right because it's just purely representation matters, and they got all these side projects.
I'm not necessarily on the right.
But you can't attack people on the left unless you're on the right.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does make a lot of sense. Because here's
That
the thing.
doesn't make any
People-
sense. People on the left talk to people on the left all the time. That doesn't make
Okay,
any
well,
sense.
let me explain. If you're on the left, you already picked a side. You declared a side. You get to attack whoever you want to, left or right. But you haven't picked a side, whether it's left or right, but you only wanted to attack the left when it's convenient, the right when it's horrible, but you don't have a side declared.
So what?
Okay, well, you're not a legitimate political actor. The only thing you are a political saboteur at this point. We don't know where you are. We don't know where you stand. We can't coordinate with you with anything. You clearly don't, pretty much know anything about the process. And once you get cornered
And
on,
you
you're not
you
even
think you-
positioned.
And y'all think you're gonna get independence with that attitude? Okay.
Now here,
Whoa.
this
What's
is
independent about what he's talking about?
right.
He's only attacking the left. Like, what is this independent talk?
Right. This is classic low information voter. A lot of people thought that when I started doing the low information voter series that I was somehow, attacking them. It was personal. No, this is exactly what a low information voter sounds like. He voted for Trump in 2020. He skipped the midterms, and then he voted for Trump again in November of 2024. This is a low information voter. We did not know that these type of black men existed in our communities. We didn't know that, or at least in the manosphere specifically
Until a
speaking.
Republican got in office who actually stroked their low information and their purely pathetic sense of masculinity.
Yeah,
They thought that masculinity was bossing women around and grabbing them by the genitals. Like, this actually appeals to, I don't want to say to Delta Novembers. Like,
Yeah.
that type of no policy talk. He don't have to do anything. The only thing you have to do is, quote unquote, look manly and make them feel masculine about themselves. That's all he had to do. Nothing was able to be done politically. And these are the people that we're supposed to believe is working for things on the right when they're in charge? Nah, man.
let's continue on.
What is independence? Like, what does that mean?
The majority of people are not registered as a Democrat or a Republican in this country. That's the attitude you're going to have toward them. That's how you're going to get more people to your side, to pick your side to the left.
Okay, AB Media. If that's true, what state in the United States have voted for an independent for a senator and an actual presidential candidate and an actual state legislature that is purely independent? If what you say is true, there should be at least one state in this union that has an independent assembly of some kind. Could you name me one of those?
No, there isn't one.
Even Bernie
Okay.
Sanders had to go with the Democrats.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay. So you know that being an independent is really not really picking a side. So you have to pick left or right if you want progress.
Why?
You got to be able to, okay, because here's
You
the
have
thing.
to use one or the other.
Why?
Complex. Let me explain. Because no matter what your platform is, you got to caucus with somebody. You have to caucus with somebody. Even if you're Jesse Ventura, he caucused mostly with the left because he's a libertarian when he was a governor. So at the end of the day, in order to get your actual particular things through, you have to caucus with the side. Susan Collins Remain claimed to be an independent, always actually lobbies or even votes with the actual Republican Party. Bernie Sanders is an independent, but can't get shit done on his own. He has to lobby with the actual Democratic Party.
Exactly.
So even if you are in the middle, like you claim you are, you still have to pick a side in order for you to get your agenda through. Because you just can't say, I'm going to stop at just being in the middle and not pick a side to get the actual things done. Because there's another step to this being in the middle. Because once you're in the middle, now you got twice the amount of work with half the representation because you didn't vote in the primary. So now you have to choose a side in order to get your caucus through. Because most of the things that you brought up are not even things that are even on the ballot. Universal health care, not on the ballot. Being sold out by the actual Democratic Party, by the way. Right? There was nobody in the Republican Party who was for universal health care or single payer at all. So the health care party and the people who actually did health care was on the left, not the right. And they're not even doing the universal health care thing because they're completely bought out and paid for by the actual insurance lobby. So I'm asking you, from your understanding of in the middle, what is your timeline to get to success your way with your understanding of how this works?
I don't know.
If you don't know, how are you going to be critical of a platform like ours?
Okay, you guys think you have all the answers?
That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. That was not the question. How are you critical of the Black Brain Trust? Vote blue no matter who, butt hurt, all that stuff. How are you critical of us when you can't even explain your own position? This is it for those of you listening, and we'll be listening to this. This is the hallmark of a low information voter. Okay? This is the hallmark of a low information
dance,
voter.
troll, twerk. Buck dance, troll, twerk, God's responsibility. Act like you don't understand basic English. You know what we're getting at.
And we were very respectful to him on this
Yeah.
stream when this was happening. Okay. So the idea that, low information voters hitting below the belt, no, it's not. It's an actual term, a legitimate term to describe people who think just like AB Media. Okay. This is very important. He's not the only one in the space, but he's the loudest voice in the space.
No, what I'm saying
No,
is
man,
if you can't answer
he holds
questions
these
like
layouts
that,
for people in
then just understand that dudes like us are going to do live streams like this about guys like you. Do you understand that?
Fine.
Okay, so
AB
if it's
Media.
fine.
Please
Well,
understand how
just
the
hold on,
system works.
MOT, let me get this out just real quick. See, so AB Media, just on the record, so fine. Then you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, bro. I don't want to hear shit when it comes to, the BGS side or whatever that side you come from in terms of what it is that we're talking about and what we're on, because what just got put on display here over the last 30, 40 minutes here is the fact that you're not equipped to be critical of us when you can't answer the type of questions MOT was asking you.
I mean, in order to actually participate in the process, you got to have all this stuff figured out. You got to have a framework laid out. You got to have a pathway to success, because you just can't hide in your bunker and wait till the perfect candidate comes around who says all this stuff that they're going to be able to do for you, because by being in the middle, you actually don't have any leverage depending on what state you're in. Like independents really don't have all that much type of leverage. Like California, New York, Colorado, like independents don't get shit. They don't get anything. They have to vote with the majority party of what's going on. They have to wait till election day, look at the ballot, read the actual ballot, and that's just it. It's like you have to update your level of political engagement. Otherwise, you're just going to be waiting in your bunker and talking about things that are literally not even on the ballot. So like I said, if this LGBT thing is that much of a big deal to you, you should be knocking on the door of the Supreme Court asking them how come they have not taken their rights away. Because this is something that they actually have the right to do. They gave them to them, they can take them away. Just like abortion rights. They had the rights to abortion, and they took them away. So we got to be able to understand how the actual system works, and you have to be able to have a level of participation that we can track. You can track my participation. I'm on the left. Our city works fine. Even for Black people who don't show up. City works fine. As long as you want to be productive, they got free training at Aurora Community College or Denver Community College or even Front Range Community College, all up and down the Front Range area, which is the Denver metro area. We solved all those issues already.
Okay.
And even if people are in the middle, they still vote for the left or right candidate because you don't want to live in right-wing areas in Colorado. No city services, no mass transit, nothing. You just stuck out there. Lights turn off at certain times in the night, depending on what small ass city you're in. I'm like, all this stuff matters, bro. So what I'm saying is that, dude, you have to have a nuanced understanding of how this stuff works, so that way you can get the most out of the process. Because right now, the way you're going, you don't even have a pathway to even get anything out of the process at all. I want you to get some shit out of this shit. I don't want you just holding your vote and thinking that you're holding some hostage. I want you to have some real leverage out here. Leverage participation, man.
Okay, well, I haven't picked a side yet.
Okay. So there's only two legitimate sides, left or right.
Well, I have a question.
Oh, Cornel West is not a side? Okay.
Even if he gets elected, he'll run with the Democrats. But I got a question,
Slightly.
AB. So what's on the right that's appealing to you?
What's on the right that's appealing to me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell you one about Trump. He has a pair of balls, and that I just do not see that with the Democrat Party and leadership.
What does that mean?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
could you
Wait a
explain
second. Here.
that?
Wait a second here. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you heard what you heard. I mean, hopefully you can explain it.
Yeah, I don't. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't see Democrats push for stuff that they claim they want at all. Like, for
I
example,
mean, like the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act? You don't see them pushing that?
no, not effectively enough, because when
Okay, but
Biden
who's
was,
voting against
hold on,
that?
wait a minute, let me finish.
Okay, okay.
Because when Biden was doing Build Back Better, I didn't say anything. I tried to stay quiet. So I was like, okay, let me see what they're going to do. And it ended up being, well, they got a little bit, but it was nowhere near what they were talking about.
Okay, so let's stop right here. What party was voting against what he wanted to do in that bill?
Republicans.
How come he couldn't go? Okay, so are you for the Republican Party for him not getting more than what he needed, or are you for the Democratic Party, the person who you was waiting for to put a whole bunch of stuff in that bill?
Say that again.
Okay, so if Biden was trying to put a whole bunch of stuff in the bill, in the Build Back Better, which did work, by the way, because we got Biden economics going on right now. So if Biden was doing things to try to help the economy,
Mm-hmm.
and the Republican Party was trying to push for more tax cuts in the bill rather than social programs and other kind of stuff.
As for
that's the
Democrats,
essential-
but go ahead.
No, it's for everybody in the country, regardless of where you live. It isn't no either or.
No, I was saying Democrats would push for tax cuts too, but go ahead.
Not as many as the Republican Party.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
Okay, so in this specific instance, what was it on the Republican side that the Republicans was bringing up about the Build Back Better plan that you liked that they was putting in?
None of it really, but
Okay, so none of it you liked that the Republican Party was doing. Okay, so you don't like the Republican plan, so you must like most of what Biden was doing, correct?
correct.
Okay, so when you did not participate in the actual process, you do realize you're leveraging everybody else's collective participation in the process when it came to the Build Back Better plan. And it's everything that happens in politics. When you do not participate and you do not pick a side, you're literally making it hard for everybody else who does pick a side. Even if you're a Republican, if you sit at home, if you stay out, you cannot say that you want progress. Because progress comes
Okay, I
from
don't agree with that, but okay.
Okay. Again, let's go over it. How does progress happen when you don't participate in a representative democracy, where was based on you showing up? How does progress happen your way? With your understanding of how the system works, 200 some years, how does the actual system work your way?
Well, how the system works is when enough people stop showing up, sooner or later, one side's going to have to break.
Not necessarily. Okay, so I got a question. You watch sports at all?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay. Let's go with basketball. You do realize a team can decide to forfeit any game that they want to, or all games if they want to, correct?
Correct.
When one side forfeits, who wins that battle?
The other side?
Again, so you understand how sports work, but you don't understand how politics work. Because you want people to stay home that's going to send a message. The only message you're going to send is the other people are just going to walk through with the victory.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that you have to continuously actually participate if you continuously want incremental change. It requires constant participation in order for that to work and in order for that to happen. Because you understand it when it comes to sports, but you want people to stay at home when it comes to politics. So you understand that forfeiting the game, you don't get anything out of forfeiting the game. You don't get to complain about the game that you forfeited once you forfeit the game. That means you lost. You don't have any leverage by not showing up to not play. The only leverage that you have is clean clothes. That's the only leverage that you have in a situation like that.
Okay.
And AB, I want to
Here's the deal, too. I want to stop you here.
Wow. It's just so crazy that we're having this conversation.
Yeah, and his commitment to Trump was because of the size of his testicles. Let that sink into your brain for people listening to this and watching this.
But he's anti-LGBT. But the first thing out of his mouth was the size of another man's ball.
But even if you just want to say the size of it, right? His commitment to voting was predicated on the man's testicles. So you didn't need any actual bills. You didn't need to actually have any execution. You didn't need to promise black men anything. You didn't need any sort of DEI initiative. Nothing. None of that. All that was needed was the size of the man's testicles, his scrotum. That was the commitment that AB Media had for Trump and none for Biden.
And he
right?
didn't even get to see it. The thing is, he just assumed with nothing that he can verify. I
And
mean, this is how easy it is to get these dummies on your team. It's so easy. You don't
and
have to provide them anything.
and the thing here, thing here is this, MOT. When you explained to him about the sports analogy, he understood that, but didn't understand that for politics.
Brain works fine.
I mean, people have to understand this is the hallmark of the low information voter. Misinformation rules the day with them. It doesn't matter how many facts you put on screen, like we're seeing right here. I put up a whole fact sheet, just completely ignored it. So facts don't matter, information, data, that stuff don't matter to them. The size of the man's testicles was a deciding factor. It's one of the most amazing displays of low information that I've ever witnessed in my time in the manosphere. I mean, we've heard like,
balls are not on the ballot either.
yeah, LGBTQ flags were not on the ballot, right?
He
You
was
had Confederate
mad
flags.
at a flag over the White House,
Yeah,
but not mad of the size of balls, which is why he voted for somebody. Which symbolism is worse? A flag over the White House that you can see,
mm-hmm.
or the size of somebody's balls that you didn't see, and you were completely convinced based off of that. No policy.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's finish playing this.
Let you know, I just want to say this real quick. The Republicans, the right, whatever you want to call them, they don't represent majority of the country. So when you don't vote, you're essentially voting for them. So it's kind of like because they need.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. How long think you gonna tell people that bullshit?
How is it
It's
bullshit?
not. It's not.
How-
It's not. It's literally how to
It's horse shit, and you know it.
How is it?
Now here it is, right? This is the this butt hurt
Man,
vote blue, right? Butt hurt, right?
He came
That's
out
what-
swinging.
yeah,
Came out swinging.
right. He thinks that we're butt hurt based on this conversation, and especially this context here. Who's really butt hurt? This guy's butt hurt, right? But the way it's framed in the manosphere today in 2025, it's the Black Brain Trust that's butt hurt. But this conversation highlights everything that's wrong with the manosphere. One, he's allowed to even get away with some of the stuff that he's doing, a lot of the stuff that he's doing. And two, his level of knowledge and comprehension of how the system works has not changed since he voted the last time. So that means, between 2020 and 2025, which is essentially a bachelor's degree, an undergrad, so to speak, he has not increased his base level understanding of how the system works. It has not improved. And so what we're dealing with here is a crisis of the Black voter, right? The low information voter is, in fact, a major crisis for the Black community. Let me finish playing the rest of this.
Horseshit. So Trump
Keep
won.
telling-
So when Trump won, right? You do know that like when Trump won, Hillary did not get the amount of votes that Obama got.
That's Hillary's damn fault. That's not Trump's fault.
But black people didn't. But black people didn't show up like they did.
That's Hillary's damn fault. That's not our fault. Why is that our problem?
Sir.
Why is that our problem?
Maybe media.
She didn't do what she needed to do to get our vote. Why is that our problem?
What I'm trying to
Maybe
convey, but what I'm trying to convey, brother, is just that.
Let me finish the part here. Look how angry he is. Look how indignant he is when it comes to Democrats. But when it comes to Trump, oh, you really think that's going to work to bring more Black voters over to your side? Oh, wait a second here. You're willing to give your vote to this guy based on the size of his testicles, but when it comes to Democrats, you have to come. They have to come talk to you. They have to come knock on your door. They have to sit down like a Jehovah's Witness and spring the word to you. I don't know. I don't know how you solve an issue like this. Actually, I do know how you solve it. I just don't know if the manosphere is capable of scaling beyond this point. Go ahead, Moti.
I mean, the problem here is that whenever you bring up a legitimate point that he can't get past,
Mhm.
he just while he starts swinging his elbows like he's a power forward who just grabbed the rebound.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this
Andre
is
Drummond.
literally, yeah, and it's like, do you not understand that the Supreme Court that people are complaining about right now is based on the fact that people didn't vote for Hillary Clinton? The same middle of the road whites who's doing all these podcasts are the same people who did not show up for Hillary Clinton and who did not vote for Bernie Sanders the next election around. The same middle class whites.
Mm-hmm.
They made the same mistake twice.
Crazy.
First of all, you didn't want to see a middle of the road, or you didn't want to see a corporate Democrat. Then how did Hillary get so many damn votes? If you didn't want to see that, then how did Trump get so many damn votes? Like, they are so willing to keep this focus on this so-called hardworking American whites that they really let the country go to shambles. And this Supreme Court is literally brought to you by working class whites. And they
Yep.
don't replace two people off the Supreme Court and replace them with 40 of them, so that we can have 30 years of this nonsense going on. Why people just don't want to understand politics, don't want to participate in a meaningful way, and only want Democrats to fix stuff while they ask Republicans for nothing. Insane.
When you don't vote, that's a vote for Republican, because
what?
that's why
So
they're
what?
scary, man. That's what they're trying to stop black people from voting now. That's the
Oh,
point. Like, you're not, like,
God.
you're saying it like,
The dude said, "So what?" You want to talk about somebody who's butthurt? That's butthurt right there, man.
Right
That
there.
dude is butthurt. He is so angry, so indignant that, you know, I mean, you can hear his arms flailing around in the room and whatnot. It's just unbelievable how we're characterized as the Black Brain Trust as being butthurt, but you're witnessing the butthurt in real time.
I want to benefit off the vote blue no matter who.
Let's finish playing the last 10 minutes of this.
And the way the white numbers are diminishing, they can't do that forever. You think we don't see that shit? They can't do that forever. Sooner or later, they're gonna have to bend.
Okay, what's the timeline then, sir? If this is your plan,
I don't know the
what is your
timeline,
timeline?
but
what year is that gonna happen?
I don't know.
So then you can't bank on that. You got to just go what you know now, and what we know now is when black people don't show up and vote, that's a vote for Republicans. That they need
So
black
what?
people.
So what?
What
Why
do you
should
mean,
we kiss
so
the Democrat
what?
Party's
That's
ass? That's what I'm talking about. Why should we kiss the Democrat Party's ass like that?
It's not kissing. That's not kissing
Yes,
ass.
it is.
No, you saying Trump had balls? That's kissing ass. That's not. No, that's actual kissing ass. You're kissing Trump's ass. That's not kissing Democrats' ass by voting. Like, that didn't make sense.
Sustained, Lou. Lou checked him.
Yeah.
And you can't really argue with what Lou is saying. That the idea that you don't want to be, it shouldn't be your position to kiss the Democratic Party's ass, but in fact you're voting for Trump based on the size of his testicles. Was you kissing the Republicans' ass? You're the shill. You're the real shill. You got nothing out of it.
Republican shield, the anti-progressive shield that is the black male actual political know nothing. They're trying to dress up their indignancy with the actual process by voting Republican and getting nothing.
Yeah, that's what we at.
How they protect themselves from the actual act of what they actually did is just pretend like you're not talking, or else whenever you get closer to the truth, they just throw the ninja smoke bomb and you can't even see where they're at. Okay, all right.
I mean, at least we're voting on policy. I mean, you're voting on a dude got a pair of balls. You didn't say how big the balls were, what he was doing with the balls, what kind of policy was passed off the balls. What's going on here?
You holding Trump?
We're asking for specifics.
No, Trump's an asshole. Yeah, Trump's an asshole. I don't kiss his ass.
No, you said he had big balls. That's why you voted. You said, I asked you what appeals to you on the right. You said Trump got big balls. That was your answer. You didn't say anything about a policy. You didn't say anything about a piece of legislation. No forms, no acts. You didn't say anything. You said Trump got big balls.
Well, look. Now, as far as the reason I actually voted for Trump is because I thought he was the lesser of two evils.
Okay,
Biden,
that's fine.
No, he didn't do
But
everything.
You didn't vote, though.
I voted in 2020.
Okay.
I didn't vote in 2022. I voted in 2020.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
And for the record, I've voted ever since I was 18. I'm 40 now. I've voted ever since I was 18. And most
Yes,
of
I
the
seen it in
Democrats.
Art Nostal. Yeah, yeah. I seen it in Art Nostal chat when you did say that. So, all right. So,
And up to 2016, mostly Democrat.
AB Media, if you, I don't care who you vote for. I want you to show up and participate, man. Every time, I want you to participate. I don't give a damn who's on the ballot. I don't give a damn what's on the ballot. Can we get you solid ballots to just at least participate in the process, please?
Sure.
All right. So, guess we made some progress today. All right. No further questions from me.
And for the record, I don't necessarily, if you want to participate, that's fine. I'm not necessarily telling people that want to participate not to participate. But if you're tired of them, I'm not going to say anything. If you want to sit it out.
No, I mean, but that's what you said earlier, that you want people to not participate, so that way the system's going to get better at some point. So you can't say that you're not for that when you literally just said that a little while ago. Okay. Maybe I heard it wrong. Could you clean up your statement?
Yeah, I'm not saying necessarily I want everybody to sit down at home and not participate. Well, first of all, we both know that's not going to happen. There's some people that they're going to vote for the left no matter what I do. I know that. But I'm just speaking to the people that are tired of some of the stuff the left is doing. Maybe an option is not to participate.
Okay.
This makes no sense. This makes no sense. He complained about universal health care, he articulated the left as being about universal health care. The very thing that he wants to see himself, but is complaining
out of his mouth.
Out of his mouth. Yeah, but is complaining about the left not doing enough while the right gets to vote against it. But he votes for the right. Yo, this is astounding. I forgot even that this conversation even happened in this context. This is the hallmark of a low information voter. It's really important that people understand this. We didn't
put why it's worse.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, the reason why it's worse is because he has not increased his level of understanding of the process. Since then, but his platform has grown based on the amount of BGSEs he can have listening to his political disinformation and misinformation.
Yeah.
So he's tied to this right-wing talk as his only level of engaging in the political process. Platform is growing. He's putting on the front. He wants all this blue stuff, but he'd rather talk to a whole bunch of people who don't know nor understand the process for attention, because he's not making any money off it. But it's just for attention. And that's all it takes to get low information voters. It's just pay attention to me. That's why you don't see any of these news stations trying to bring on a whole bunch of black low information voters. They don't care. They know how stupid white low information voters are. And the moment that you put those people up there with actual black people who participate in the process, yeah, man, it's nothing but Hatfields and McCoys. Straight up all out war, because whenever cornered, they just get the buck dancing and trolling. And then with no actual, panel moderation, this is how all conversations go. And they only do this so that way they can get away with this type of stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. Let me finish playing the last 5 minutes of this.
And that's why I asked you the question. How do you get what you want if you don't participate in the people who do show up and they do participate? Now it's becoming circular, because you say that you understand how the system works. And you're trying to leverage the people who are frustrated, because the people who are frustrated, they don't understand the process. If they simply understood the process and knowing that most of this vote is stopping bad shit from happening rather than getting stuff, this stuff would be way better off. Trust me, I'm from Mississippi.
So now we're just voting down there. So now we're just voting to stop bad shit from happening.
Yes.
Yes,
that's part of voting.
Stop fascism. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask a question? Can I ask him a question?
You're not stopping fascism, but go ahead, Complex.
Bro, you
okay? So you name me any point in time in American history, right, in terms of politics, where the political system auto or self-corrected itself?
Never.
Okay, so then explain to me the efficacy of inactivity when it comes to voting and being engaged in the political process.
Okay, repeat your question, just so I can
If that is the case, then explain to me what are the advantages of not doing anything with regards to the political process, i.e. voting, running for positions yourself, lobbying.
Well, as you said, you guys are voting to stop bad things from happening. The definition of insanity is doing.
Wait, hold on a second. That's not exactly what I said. I said that a lot of voting is making sure that bad things don't happen. That's not the specific reason why people vote. There are candidates there. There are ballot initiatives. There's a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah.
It's not just primarily that. It's that plus. It's not an either or. It's a not only but also.
Okay, but I want to follow up on this because you said you're an independent.
Yes.
So am I. I'm a registered independent here in California, and I'm trying to understand where you're coming from as an independent. Like, what is as an independent? Because I can tell you mine. I'll be more than happy to disclose all of it, right? But what is your reasoning for identifying as an independent? Do you have some sort of special interest?
I don't agree. I don't necessarily agree with either party on how in the direction. I agree with some things, and on some circumstances with the Democrat Party, and some things with the Republican Party. But
okay. No, I was letting you finish, bro. I'm sorry.
But I just pick a as MOT said when I go to the voting booth now, I just pick a side, and I try to listen to both candidates, and I do understand because you're in Mississippi, right, on MOT?
No. I was born in Mississippi. I actually live in Colorado.
Okay.
In Colorado.
Now, certainly, I can there are some Republicans. I would never tell anybody to vote for the Republicans in Mississippi. No, you can't vote for those dudes. They, as MOT said, you do need to pick a side down there.
So which Republican you should vote for? Give me an example. Give me an example. Give me a Republican you should vote for. That's different than Tate Reeves.
I mean, what voting state are you in?
Indiana.
Is that where you vote at, or that's where you live at? You go across the
Indiana.
Illinois, or do you,
Yeah, Indiana.
Oh my God! Like what Republican?
Are there any politicians registered as independents that you support in Indiana?
Not at this time.
There's none that are running as independents?
No, I haven't seen anybody run as an independent.
Okay.
It's usually Democrat or Republican.
Well, no, but see, you yourself can register as an independent, and what I'm trying to pin down is your reasoning for doing it. Because, like I said, I'm a registered independent, but I can tell you why I am. Because, see, I vote my business interest. And because of this, I have to be indifferent. I have to largely be indifferent. I have to deal with if there's a Republican government in office in my city or in my state or whatever it is, or if it's a Democrat-led government. As an independent, I have to have indifference to know how to deal with both. That's why I'm like, okay, are you an independent for the right reasons or the wrong reasons? Because what I don't like, I don't like people who take this position right here, right, and then will talk shit, right, about dudes like us, even though we have legitimate reasons for being either independent or quote unquote leftist, as you guys like to call it. There's like this real kind of gaslighting catch-all phrase that has way more nuance to it. So this is why I'm asking you, what is it? Why specifically are you independent? And based on what I'm getting, it's just because both sides have BS going on.
No, I'm an independent for, like, as you said, for my interests.
And that's what I asked you. What are those interests?
Yeah.
My interest is affordable health care.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. You just said that you didn't want universal health care, which would lower healthcare costs. Now you said the first issue out of your mouth was lower healthcare.
I never said that. Wait a minute. I never said that.
What he said.
I never said that.
He said how he identified. He said how he identifies a leftist. As somebody who's for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
I never said I never wanted lower healthcare costs.
But then when you be a leftist, then
yeah, this is the first issue out of your mouth.
Yeah, that was the first thing you said. You said you identify leftists by people who are for universal health care, and then now you're saying you're for affordable health care. Like, I don't. So you're a leftist. I get it, bro. I get it, AB. Bro,
no, what I want to know is his interest, because what he's actually identifies as is an independent.
No, I know what it is, bro. He's a dissatisfied left. I see what it is, but that's why when you got all riled up.
No, Lou, don't let him out like that, okay? He identifies the left as being, universal health care, okay? For whatever that means. Then he identifies as his stake as an independent. Universal health care. Yo, you can't make this stuff up, man. But yet, we're the butthurt vote blue no matter who. No, you're the butthurt guy. You voted for a guy who's against Medicaid and Medicare based on the size of his scrotum, and then you take it out on everybody else who's considered to be a Democrat. But you have nothing to say about Republicans who vote against your interests. And then you vote for those same people who vote against your interests. But claim that universal health care is your hallmark, stake in being an independent. Yo, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. We didn't force him to say any of this stuff. He came on this panel and he said all of this. This is who AB Media is. This is what represents the Coliseum, the host of the Coliseum, right? That's who we're dealing with here. The low information voter is a real thing in the manosphere. So I want people to understand that this low information voter series was to capture all of the data and all of the talking points and all of the conversations in context of politics. That's what we're dealing with here. MOT, you got anything to say?
No, sir. No, sir. I think AB Media, whether clearly or not so clearly, have summed up why he's here.
Yeah. And so you should never hear anybody talk about the Black Brain Trust being butthurt or nothing like that. Okay. After this conversation, and this conversation happened 2 years ago. Okay. This was during the midterms or after the midterms. So the idea that, because so the idea that the Black Brain Trust was just mad because Democrats didn't win or Kamala lost or something like that. No. All that's misinformation. Okay. In fact, it was a disinformation campaign against the channel run by the master teacher himself. Okay. He ran a whole entire campaign against us about things that were never true and never apologized for it either. He lied about all this stuff. And we get AB Media in the hot seat, and this is what he puts out here. Now, if it wasn't for the Black Brain Trust putting this back on display, no one would have never known that AB Media was a testicular voter. Okay. He voted based on the man's, the size of a man's scrotum. Okay.
That's what I call special interest.
Oh yeah.
Extra special.
Yeah. He's a genital lobbyist, so to speak.
About kissing Democrats' ass and who, hey, bro, I get it, bro. You're dissatisfied, right? I understand what you're saying, bro.
Citizen Lou, here's the point I'm trying to highlight. I don't want to be gaslit by another quote unquote independent. Do you guys follow where I'm going with this shit?
I'm not trying to lie to you.
Well, I ain't saying you're trying to lie. I'm saying you're gaslighting us.
Okay, how?
Because how the shit that you talked that Mike played earlier in this live stream from last night on your live stream, and then now you're over here, and now we're seeing what time it really is. And I'm saying you're talking to another independent here. So now I'm really kind of checking your temperature right about now. What has you being an independent? Now you said affordable health care. I can actually go with that.
Me too.
And I just want to know, what are your interests? I want to know more about your political position, given the opinions that you had about us.
What are my political interests? Okay.
Yeah, you said affordable health care. What else?
Reasonable government. Reasonable.
That's vague. Be more specific. That's vague. Be more specific.
Be more specific. Reasonable government. Not too much government regulation, but enough.
What does that mean?
Are you saying at the federal level? Or are you saying at the state level?
Federal
level. Two
level.
Different regulations.
Federal
what
level.
About the state? I mean, your state really regulates where you are, right? Like, for example, Keystone Pipeline wouldn't be able to pass through a place like Massachusetts. No one in the state would ever tolerate that because the regulations for oil drilling and pipelines would never pass. But in conservative states, that passes just fine. Right? So when it comes to state regulation versus Fed, it starts at the state level, not necessarily at the federal level, because states' rights and federal laws don't always commingle with each other. So although the Fed may have some regulation, that doesn't always mean that states are going to adhere to it. Right? That's like the Second Amendment is one regulation where states have, conservative states have basically absolved themselves from any sort of federal intervention. You understand that part, right?
Yeah.
No, what's your state choice?
Right. So mostly, yeah, which is their choice. But you say less regulation. Well, let's look at the last 3 mass shootings in every single instance of these mass shootings, whether it's Buffalo, Uvalde, the other one down in is it Dallas, where the Latino white Hispanic went on a rampage in the mall, they got those guns legally. How much less regulation needs to be restricted or absolved to satisfy you in that area?
We need universal background class. What was? Sorry, universal
background
checks. Background checks. I do believe in that, even for the gun shows.
There's a specific political party that doesn't want that to happen.
I know, and they're stupid for that, and I don't dispute that.
And you voted for them anyways.
Yes,
This is what I'm saying. I don't think people
everything
really
they want is
understand.
left-wing based.
Go ahead. It's just
When you
unbelievable.
ask them, it's all left-wing shit. It's like, oh well, I want that, and Republicans are assholes for not doing it. Yes, but you voted for the asshole party. And you're trolling the actual side of the people that you claim that you're not on, but every single one of your issues sound completely left-wing. I want to benefit from the blue no matter who.
This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. You believe in universal background checks, even at gun shows, that the Republican Party does not believe in.
So does 80% of the people in the country, but we still can't get it because I'm gonna vote red no matter who.
This is unbelievable, and people think that we make this stuff up. You know, the low information voter series is never wrong. Okay, it's never wrong.
We got to be reasonable. Don't get it twisted. I am not for taking everybody's guns, but we do need reasonable. That's what I mean by reasonable government regulation.
Okay, well, that's a left-wing issue, like the healthcare left-wing issue. Universal background checks at gun stores, definitely a left-wing issue.
Defunding the ATF, definitely a right-wing issue.
Tax and ammunition, the amount of ammunition that's caused for mass destruction over a certain amount of cartridges and bullets. That's how I think. I think that's the best way to do it. But yeah, what else, man? I mean, so what other issues you got, AB? Because it sounded pretty leftist.
Yeah, I mean, do you have like some purely right-wing things that only right-wing people does that's not been brought up? Because I mean, the healthcare thing definitely left. The actual universal background checks is definitely a left-wing thing. So do you have anything that's purely...
That's both sides. So that's not really, that's a moot point. Are you against welfare?
No.
Oh, well, you're a leftist. I mean, you're a leftist. Sorry to tell you.
And well, but that's a moot point too, because most of them are on welfare too.
That's not what. No, most red states are welfare babies.
Yeah, you can't make this up, man. Yeah, you can't make this up at all, man. I'm gonna stop it here. This guy is the butthurt, vote blue no matter who. He's the butthurt guy.
Miserable liberal from Indiana.
Absolutely. And that's gonna be the title of this too. That's gonna be the title of this. The miserable liberal.
The miserable liberal.
Unbelievable, man.
Who voted for Hillary Clinton, by the way?
Yeah.
My point, yeah. Most of them on welfare, exactly.
Especially in rural America. I mean, if it wasn't for welfare in Section 8, like, come on, man. There would be no rural America without that.
Yeah, and I see your point about rural America. I don't know if I can live there, the way they vote for those kind of Republicans.
You're definitely on the left.
Yeah, you on the left, though. Sorry to inform you, bro. You on the left. Man,
Okay.
Well, at least we got somewhere.
We want you to show up. We want you to show up every election, though. You got to be counted and you got to be heard. It's probably not going to help. And depending on what a place where you live in, unless it's like, Indianapolis.
Well, see, that's the other problem. And see, in Indiana, the Democrats here are basically want to be Republicans.
I know they have to be because of what the state is. I mean, it's no different in Mississippi. Wow. All those people who are quote unquote blue state Democrats, dude, they're nothing but blue chip, blue dog Democrats. There are no real liberals in the South like that. But that's what you have when you live in areas like where you live at, and like areas like where I'm from. I know damn well like any of those people. Because a friend of mine is actually a Mississippi state senator, and his stuff is deeply conservative. He don't like it, but he has to take those positions because he's in Mississippi.
Okay.
Let me stop it right here, man. That's it. I think, you know, I'm gonna make sure that everybody understands that this is, this is an example of why political literacy or civics and government is really important to understand in school. Okay, Black men who have low literacy rates and also have a lack of understanding of how the system works and who the actual elected officials are and who the major players are and stuff like that in the system, you end up like AB Media. Okay, you end up like him. We were very respectful to this guy, and he was very indignant about voting Democrat, even though he wants all the things that Democrats are fighting for. He votes against it by voting for a party that votes against those issues every single day. MOT, any last words from you?
No, sir. No, sir. That's it. And we should do this like once a year so that way we can get people up to speed with like after every election, we should play this. Like after the midterms should be 2026 is when we play this again. So that way you can understand that there is still no further understanding of the process, even though everything that he wants is left wing based. So that way all the other people who don't know that this actually happened can understand the actual people that they're actually listening to. That they're doing this deliberately on purpose to draw you off sides with your misunderstanding. But thanks for having me on, man.
Indeed. Thank you, everyone else. Please hit the like button on the way out, share the video if possible, and hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust.